Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Turgeon, and I am an international student advisor at Green River. You can see I've got my Green River Gators sweatshirt on. Go Gators. Um, I'm here today as part of the Monday Majors series. So I'm here to talk to you about majors in the sciences and pre-health. So thank you so much for joining me. Over the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'll talk to you about the different kinds of majors that you can focus on sciences and pre-health. I'll talk about the types of classes that you should consider taking, especially when you begin your studies at Green River. I'll talk about some of the questions you may want to ask yourself when researching universities that you'd like to transfer to major in sciences and pre-health. And finally, I'll discuss job prospects for someone who is majoring in these wide variety of majors. During this Facebook Live, I'll also be sharing my screen from time to time to share some resources with you. So let's get started with the first question, which is, what are the different types of or areas of science that I can study? So for the purposes of this Facebook Live, I'll focus on two kinds of families of majors, um, biological and biomedical sciences and physical sciences. And this is because those two majors are the most kind of focused on with my students. So what's biological and biomedical sciences? So they really offer a diverse set of degree options, but they're really focuses on studying the vast array of living things. So if you're fascinated by nature, by the living earth, by the human body, biology or biomedicine probably has a specialization for you. Um, Three majors that fall within this family are biology, biochemistry, and molecular and cellular biology. So biology major is one of the most popular college programs in the United States. It's really a broad degree, and it's going to teach you everything from information about the tiniest bacteria to the largest mammals on Earth. So it really provides you a whole picture of biology. And it's going to provide you with key skills and training in things like critical thinking, laboratory work, and data interpretation. Biochemistry really focuses on life's molecular basis. So you're going down to the molecular level, but you're going to be studying things like proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids that make up the genetic code. In molecular and cellular biology, you're going to learn how the body and other organisms work. So from how DNA determines body features and health, to how bacteria and viruses compete with each other within the immune system. You'll learn about how the brain functions at a cellular level, and even the molecular basis and current treatments for different types of cancer. So those are three very popular majors within kind of the family of biological and biomedical sciences. Physical sciences is another popular family of majors. So if you're really fascinated by the natural phenomena of the earth, physical sciences may be the right family of majors for you. The two most popular majors within physical science for my students are chemistry and physics. So in chemistry major, you're going to focus on investigating natural substances found on Earth. So you'll learn about their properties, how they interact and combine and change, and even how you can use chemical processes to create new substances. In physics, you're going to study matter and energy. So you're going to learn about the relationships between measurable quantities in the universe. So things like electric fields, kinetic energy, movement, velocity. This is what you would study in the major of physics. So I've very briefly overviewed the kind of family of physical sciences and the family of biological and biomedical sciences. Now, a lot of students ask me, can I major in pre-med? Can I major in pre-health, pre-dentistry, pre-pharmacy? When you hear that term, it's not actually an academic major, but it's a term used to describe the set of academic and extracurricular requirements to prepare for admission into a graduate level health program like dentistry, physical therapy, pharmacy, medicine, etc. So you can actually major in anything. You could be an art major, you could be a psychology major, and still be a pre-health student as long as you were meeting those requirements and applying for graduate level health programs. So pursuing a career in health is challenging, and it's often a very lengthy and expensive path for international students. It takes a lot of planning and preparation. So even if you were to start at Green River and be a biology major with a pre-health focus, you and I are going to work together to plan out your classes accordingly, because it requires many years of education and even additional years of training. Above all, I really expect pre-health students to have a passion for science and also an interest in helping others, and an ability to really weather very kind of arduous and difficult work environments where you might be in a clinical setting from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and that's your shift. So you really have to have a passion for the work that you do and a drive for the work that you do. If you're interested in exploring health careers, there's a website that I want to show you. So let me just share my screen with you. And it's called Explore Health Careers. So it's called explorehealthcareers.org. So it's a very easy website to remember. So you can learn a little bit more about, is a career in healthcare right for you? But you can even do a search. So if we click on the website, you can actually say, okay, I am willing to do, let's say, 6 years of school as a maximum. So you do a 4-year bachelor's degree and then 2 years of additional schooling. If you click submit, it's going to show you all the different types of majors or careers that fit within that category. So you could be a behavioral scientist or a biostatistician. So there's a lot of good information on here. You could be, if we say we click on the link, it's going to tell you what's the average salary, the years that you'll have to be in higher education, etc. So I strongly recommend that you review explorehealthcareers.org. So I'll stop my share there. Let's see if we have any questions. It doesn't look like there's any questions so far. So let's move on. So the next question is, what classes should I start off with as a new student at Green River College? I think if you're interested in either the sciences or pre-health, the most important thing is to start with math and chemistry classes first. So almost all science and pre-health majors require a foundation in calculus and chemistry. Pre-nursing and nutrition require a different set of science classes, but otherwise you're going to follow pretty similar coursework at Green River, whether you want to be a bio major, a biochem major, a physics major. They don't really change too much. So let me show you what I mean. Let me share my screen with you again, and I'll show you the actual associate degree transfer plans we use when advising students. So let me go back to my screen here, and I will just go to the This is the website called Transfer Degree Planning University and College Transfer on our website. So if we go down, most students would focus on our Associate of Science Transfer Track 1. So that's for biochemistry, chemistry. We also have a pre-nursing degree. And if you're like interested in physics or physical sciences, you might do the transfer track 2. So let's just, for the case of an example, look at transfer track 1. So we'll let this load, and we scroll down, you can see, you've got some communication and English composition. You've got quite a bit of calculus, as I said. And if we scroll down here, this is where the specific requirements come in. So all students are going to start with a year, so 3 quarters of college level chemistry. And that would be even if you're a physics major as well, biochemistry, chemistry, etc. You're going to start with that year of chemistry and a year of calculus. So I just wanted to share that with you as kind of the foundational courses that you will take. And then when you move on to your second year, you'll take some more specialized courses depending on the science major that you decide to focus on. Okay, so I'll stop my share with that. Something else I really want to stress, that if you are interested in the health sciences and health careers, planning your classes out is not the only thing. Something really important to a health admissions application when you apply to like a dentistry or pharmacy is that you have some kind of work or volunteer experience in a clinical setting. And ideally, that setting is aligned with your career. So say, for example, you're interested in dentistry, you would want to maybe contact local dentists to see if you could volunteer there or shadow a dentist. And even if you're not in the United States yet, this is something you could start now. So you could even look in your home country, in your local area or city, to see if local health clinics, doctor's offices, dentistry offices, pharmacists would allow you to volunteer or shadow, or even just have an informal conversation with you about their careers. Because when you apply to a health career, you really want to be sure that this is what you want to do. And the people who review your application will be reading your essays and your letters of recommendation to make sure that you fully understand the career you're about and the type of study you're about to embark on. So having a level of confidence about, I know what dentistry is like. I've volunteered in a dental office. I maybe did some medical volunteer opportunities in a different country. So I have a strong sense of this is the health career I really want to focus on. So that's why it's important to start early. You always hear that with any pre-health majors. Start early with volunteering and getting involved, whether that's paid or unpaid, in a clinical setting. Because it's very important to your application. And it's also important for you to have a better understanding of the career that you really want to pursue. So let's see if we have any other, doesn't look like we have any questions. So I will move on. So the next question is, what university should I think about transferring to? I would say that most of my students in sciences pre-health go to fairly large universities. Those universities might be private universities. Most often they're public universities. So schools like, the UCs, so UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, UC Irvine, or the University of Washington. Those are very common schools. Also, University of Minnesota has strong science programs, or Wisconsin. So kind of those big name state universities that you've heard of before are great choices for sciences and pre-health. When you're doing your own research about universities, you want to make sure that they have large and well-funded laboratories, and that they conduct and publish a lot of reputable scientific research. A great place to start is to just go to, let's say, the biology website of a university to see what their professors are conducting research on, and are they being published and kind of highlighted on that website. Another important thing to look at is to see if they provide undergraduate students like you with opportunities to conduct your own research, because that really makes you stand out. Is if you conduct some of your own scientific research in your field of study while you're still pursuing your bachelor's degree. Now, it's this kind of interesting balance, right? Because a lot of students go to very large universities, but it can be challenging to find research opportunities at those universities as an undergraduate student. So sometimes smaller schools are actually a better choice because we have a phrase in the United States, you're a big fish in a small pond, which means that you just have more opportunities to stand out and potentially apply for undergraduate research funding. That's not to say that larger universities don't offer that type of research opportunities for undergraduates, but you may have to go through a much more competitive application process to be selected for that type of undergraduate research. I think another recommendation I would make when looking for universities is to potentially attend a university that has a hospital connected to it. So University of Washington in Seattle is connected to UW Medicine. They're literally right next door to each other. I've had a number of students of mine who transferred to UW Seattle who were able to find both paid and unpaid work opportunities at the hospital at UW. So if you are really interested in career in medicine, whether that's pharmacy, physical therapy, any of those, attending a university that has a hospital connected to it is a really good idea. When you enroll at Green River, you'll actually have access to a number of resources that'll make it easier for you to potentially choose a university, and also the classes you need to be a competitive applicant to that university. So to that end, I'm going to show you some of those resources right now. So I'll share my screen with you once again, and I will go to our International Student Advising course online in Canvas. So we have a whole section in here about sciences and health sciences requirements. So for example, if you're interested in transferring to a biochemistry major, you can see this list of schools and the courses that they would require of a Green River College student for transfer. So I've already named some of these schools, the UW, the UCs, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Another popular school is UIUC, University of Illinois, the main campus. So these resources are available to you once you're logged in as or registered as a real student at Green River. We also have some degree planners. So, just to give you a sense of what might your 2 years at Green River College look like if you're interested in transferring to UW for biology. It gives you kind of a quarter by quarter breakdown of the Green River College classes that you would be taking. That would allow you to apply and be a competitive applicant to the Department of Biology at the University of Washington. So we have lots of resources for students to use to make sure that they make very confident choices in the classes that they choose. And of course, we as advisors are always here to help you make those informed decisions as well. All right, so let me stop my share here. And let's see if we have any questions here. It doesn't look like we do. Okay, so let's go to my final question. So the all-important question, what about jobs after college? What does the job outlook look like? I can tell from my own experience, having advised science students for the last little over 4 years, I've had the opportunity to see many of my students actually graduate with their bachelor's degree in the sciences. and find jobs. So there's really ample and varied job opportunities after you graduate with your bachelor's degree. A benefit of majoring in the sciences is that you're eligible for an extension of a program called optional practical training. And this extension would actually allow you to work for 3 years in a science related job in the United States. Many of my former students who've graduated from a bachelor's degree, a lot of them are currently working in research laboratories. Many of these are connected to the university that they attended. So it might be a lab at UCLA or a lab at the University of Washington. And they're really doing some pretty amazing cutting edge research with researchers or even professors at that university. So they may be doing that for a number of years, up to 3 years. And at the end of that time, they would apply to medical school, to pharmacy school, to dental school. So it really gives you a great opportunity for work and also an additional amount of time to really prepare an excellent application to a graduate level health program. A number of my students have also, graduated and completed OPT and gotten into a PhD in biology. I just had one of my students who actually worked in our office just recently got into the University of British Columbia for cellular and molecular biology in their graduate program. So lots of opportunities as well to transfer to, top graduate level programs across the country and even in Canada in the case of this student. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunities after you graduate with your bachelor's degree. So if there are no further questions, um, that is all for me. I thank you so much for attending this Monday Majors edition about science and pre-health. Um, and I wish you a great rest of your day. And I hope that you will attend Green River. And we hope that you become a future Gator soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.